All right, for more on how Constellation's nuclear plans could impact the space, let's bring in Sophie Karp of KeyBank Capital Markets. Sophie, great to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
This seems like a very exciting deal for the industry, but how many more of these kinds of deals could actually take place, given how few reactors there are in the U.S. that could actually be brought back online?
Yeah, so that's not there are a number of reactors that have been retired in the last decade, right? In addition to Duane Arnold, is Kewanee, Pilgrim, Oyster Creek, and it's they all in different stage of decommissioning. So there might be more opportunity to bring some of them online than others. But that's not the only way to go, right? The industry has the capacity to take a nuclear reactor out of the grid and sign a bilateral deal with an off-taker like Microsoft or Oracle or any hyperscaler, really. And we've seen that happen with the Susquehanna nuclear plant, also in Pennsylvania earlier this year, which was taken, owned by Talon, and it's signed an off-take with Amazon. So, and it's quite a few of those, right? And of course, the deal that Constellation announced today sidesteps all the political fallout that can happen when such a reactor gets off the grid. But where there's an appetite, there's potential for deals like that utilize existing reactors as well.
Which publicly traded utilities are sort of in the catbird seat when it comes to inking these sorts of deals, where they actually take a reactor and they sell all the energy of long-term contract to one customer or a couple customers?
So CG is actually not a utility, right? So I think it's important to distinguish that a regulated utility would not be doing such deals. I don't think they have a legal ability to do so. They have to serve their customers. However, Constellation is a merchant generator. They are not regulated. They basically can do what they please with their nuclear power plants. And really, they're the only game in town at this point, right? They're the largest nuclear operator, merchant nuclear operator in the U.S. Other than them, this PEG, right? It's a New Jersey utility which has a non-regulated arm that also owns several nuclear reactors. Some of them co-owned with CEG, but that's the only ones that own anything really at scale.
How about the other side of the equation, and that is what would power the nuclear plants, uranium? Sophie, what's going on in your view in terms of supply there and pricing, particularly given Russia's, plans potentially to do sort of a retaliatory ban?
Yeah, I think the industry has been very focused on that. And it's not just the uranium, right? Because there's a number of steps that need to happen before the uranium becomes nuclear fuel. And the issue is really not been not as much raw material as lack of this processing capacity anywhere outside of Russia and the former Soviet Union. And so the industry has been very focused on addressing that and very careful in making sure that this capacity is being built in the U.S. and other developed countries as well. So I think that this will be addressed. And it's, of course, a very important national security issue as well.